Henry Bayles Ford was Adeline's grandfather. Henry Bayles Ford was first mate on a ship which came to Australia, and he never went back home. I haven't been able to find out the name of that ship, when it arrived and where, but it was probably Sydney, as the brig Governor Phillip operated out of Sydney. Henry Bayles Ford kept a journal in all of his 30 years as superintendent of the Cape Otway Lighthouse, and the journal is now in the State Library of Victoria. Many ships' captains are on record showing their gratitude for the light of the Cape Otway Lighthouse. At the peak of the gold rush, there was on average 8 ships a day coming into Bass Strait. Another Irish immigrant, this time a Protestant. The cottage came out in kit form on the boat with Charles La Trobe, Victoria's first governor. Mary Ann would have spent a lot of time in the cottage before she was married. The Fitzgerald Ford wedding must have been one of the first in the church, as the first official service was not held until 1842. Seven children were born at Cape Otway, days from any help. Supplies were delivered twice a year. When a French ship exploring the south coast was wrecked, the children found the crew walking on the beach and took them home. They stayed for 4 months. Lemuel was interviewed at 70 and still had fond memories of the French cooking from that time. As a young man, George saw what he thought were the lights of a wrecked ship and rode at night in the blackness along the coastal cliff tops and found the wreck in the Lockhart Gorge with only 2 survivors. Mary Ann must have been a wonderful woman, capable, loyal, strong, and resourceful. She lived in Northcote until she was 93. The rheumatoid arthritis strikes again. The words under the picture are from Donald Walker's book on the Cape Otway and Cape Wickham lighthouses. Mary Ann Ford, a former governess to the La Trobe children, this remarkable woman journeyed to Cape Otway in January 1849 and remained 30 years there. She bore 7 children at this remote lighthouse, cared for shipwrecked sailors, and tended the lighthouse herself when her husband's assistant keepers deserted to the goldfields. A true pioneering woman of Australia. In 1985, the family members gathered at the Carlton Cemetery when the headstone on the graves was unveiled. 7 people arrived in Australia to start a new life. 1, Samuel Lewis, did not come by choice. 3 were English and 4 were Irish, and 3 were Catholic. 6 were literate, and at least 2, Henry Bayles Ford and Frederick Whiteley, were very well educated. Only 1, John Connell, could not read or write. There were 2 violent deaths and some sadness and struggle, but much happiness and success.